That's a fantastic goal! Taken down, referee playing a good advantage for Spurs. It's to be fouled! Oh, save! That's going to have a crack. He is, you know. Oh, I say! Messi. Oh, brilliant skill from Lionel Messi. Surging forward with real menace here. Brilliant from Messi. Oh, what a goal that is!
Yes, good morning. Savva here from Football Heritage TV. Apologies, I was rushing about to get a few bits done this morning and forgot I hadn't sent the link to these beautiful ladies. How are you girls? You all right?
Yeah, cool, man.
Good.
We
Good.
beat Liverpool.
We beat Liverpool. I didn't know that. I didn't know. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I woke up this morning to WhatsApps from Ellie, lots of Swedish flags. Talk about Kulusevski. I'd literally woken up
as well.
Yeah, I woke up to the same thing. Oh
yeah. We know how Ellie likes a bad player, don't we, Kate?
You know what? With me, I'm like a dog with a bone.
Oh, really? I wouldn't have known that about you over the years, Ellie. I wouldn't have known that. Look, good morning, everybody. It is a Tuesday. It's Tuesday morning. It's a lovely day here in South London. As you can see from when I open that blind, it looks nice where you are. You still in Cyprus, Ellie?
Yeah, I'm at the back of my sister-in-law's house. As you
Lovely.
can see, beautiful here. Whoa, lovely.
Lovely. Just like North London. That is absolutely just like North London. Big up to everybody in the chat. Good morning to you. So Spurs don't play midweek, but what we are doing, ladies, is we are providing ridiculous amounts of drama every single weekend. If you look at all of our games, you had, let me try and get this right. I mean, Burnley away, where we scored 5. Sheffield United at home, where it was the 100th minute. 2 goals in the last 4 minutes. Then the whole Arsenal injuries, VAR. We were lucky because they had injuries. And then the VAR decisions on Saturday. We don't have normal games, do we? We may only have 38 games this season, but every single game seems to be shrouded in controversy at the moment.
Yeah, and I love it. I love it because it's about time we had a bit of drama and sensationalism at Spurs, you know, because we've been used to dross since Posh left. We've had dire football, haven't we?
Eric Dyer, literally. Literally, we've had Eric Dyer.
We deserve it, Savva. We deserve a bit of fun.
Yeah. I'm not doubting that. I'm not doubting that at all. I mean, Kate, are we hoping for a bit more of a... We'll go back to the Liverpool game in a minute, but are we hoping for a little bit more of a straightforward kind of game against Luton Town away? Would it be nice to have a nice 2-0 win where you're up 2-0 by the hour and everything's quite comfortable? You can take off your best players and not worry about Højbjerg coming on, that sort of a game?
Do you know what? I disagree with Ellie. I can't stand the drama. I can't bear it. I've got enough drama in my life without coping with football. I can't cope with it at all. And the thing is, nobody wants to win like we won at the weekend because I don't want anyone to have an excuse as to why they got beat. I just want to beat people. Do you know what I mean? For me, I would love it if we're like 3-0 up at half-time against Luton. We can rest a couple of our players and then, boring 3-0 win where we play great, no drama, lovely jubbly.
Yeah, it is starting to get like that, isn't it? I mean, look, let's look back to Saturday. Unfortunately, Ellie, Saturday is going to be remembered not by Spurs fans, but by most of the neutrals, not for a good game of football, not for the fact that Spurs are 7 unbeaten, not for the fact that, we'll see how good Spurs are after Liverpool, after Arsenal, after Man United. It will be remembered for this shocking VAR decision. And let's be honest, I know we can put our Spurs hats on and say, good, it's funny. But let's be fair, shocking decision, right? It was a truly awful football decision, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like lost in translation, wasn't it? From the VAR people. They actually told them to call it offside, but they got lost in translation and it got called onside. So it benefited us. But do you know what? In a way, it didn't benefit us in a lot of ways because they banked their defence and they went on the defensive. It was hard to break them down, I must admit. And the controversy will roll on because it's Liverpool, you know, and they will stretch it out. I reckon they'll try and get the game replayed, but they won't be able to succeed there because they're not stupid, the Football League. They're not going to do that. But at the end of the day, you know, it's nice to have a bit of drama, but I like the drama in a positive way, so it comes out.
And she's gone.
And excellent. There's the drama for this morning. You back? You back?
That was my husband phoning me. Sorry.
Shocking behaviour. He knows your lies.
Do you know what I mean?
Hey, stop being needy.
Yeah, stop being needy. Typical Greek man.
Typical man.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Dig. The drama's
Ellie,
here, Savva.
They're not going to get it replayed, are they? Like, what is it there? To both of you, just a general chat. What is it? Good morning, Tagaro. What is it they're hoping for? Like, they're appealing. Are Liverpool appealing for the good of football? Is it for all of us to get our decisions right and make sure that VAR is good? Or is this just the time that it goes against them? All of a sudden now it's this great big controversy and life's not fair and the Power Rangers are being thrown out of the cot. You know, what's going on?
Do you know what, Savva? I saw you on Saeed yesterday with that Liverpool fan. And they are just the funniest bunch of fans. They think that they're that important that there's a whole conspiracy against them. I just think it is hilarious. I would love to think they're doing it for the great of the game and they want changes to VAR, but no, it's not. Every time a decision goes against them, something happens they don't like. There's petitions for this and petitions for that. It is pathetic. Honestly, it makes me cringe. At the end of the day, everyone's been on the end of a bad decision. They were celebrating like crazy when Sissoko did that armpit ball in the Champions League final and they thought it was all clear and obvious penalty, 100%. So do you know what? I just say what goes around comes around. I don't know what they're trying to achieve. All they're doing is make themselves look really salty, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, let me ask though, I'll stick with you for 1 second, Kate. You get it, right? From a football point of view, we get why they're annoyed, but it does very much feel like they're the only team in the world that have had a bad VAR decision go against them and that every other decision this year through VAR has been absolutely immaculate and spot on. But it's Liverpool. Don't worry about them. Just get it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if it was Tottenham that was on the end of that decision, I would be going bananas, don't get me wrong. But I would wake up on Monday and go, oh, do you know what? Another decision's gone against us. We move on, you know, it's a joke. VAR's a joke. That's it. They're fans. They just go into complete meltdown, saying literally it's a conspiracy. They want Man City to win the league. It's all about money. It's corrupt. It's the Illuminati. I've heard all sorts. Do you know what I mean? It's just madness. Like I say, we would all be salty. I'm not going to lie. I would be fuming. But it's happened to every team. And if it was any other team other than Liverpool, this would have all been finished by now. They would have talked about it on Ref Watch and all these programs on Monday, and then it would be finished. But it's just going to, like Ellie said, they're going to drag it on and on and on.
They really, really do. We'll wait for Ellie to come back before we bring her back in. But yeah, I think the key thing for me here is, I mean, Postecoglou, Big Ange came out, I don't know if it was yesterday or after the game, and actually said, look, whatever technology you have in there, nothing is 100% proof. And I make him right, which is why I didn't want VAR in the first place, Kate, because I feel like we're trying to force issues that aren't there. I feel we're really trying to force issues. There's a lot of decisions now. You watch any game of football, right? You watch any game of football in the Premier League, the Champions League, whatever. They're constantly trying to find things that are wrong with goals rather than clear and obvious errors. We're actively looking for reasons. You know, everyone's elbows are being analysed. Everyone's arm movements is being analysed. Is it ruining football from the point of view of it's a very simple game? It's a very, very simple game. It involves one ball and 2 goals. Like, it's so simple. Are we overcomplicating this?
1,000,000%. We had exactly this discussion last Tuesday, didn't we? And here we are again, a week later, discussing it because there's been another mess up or a million mess ups every week. You don't see people talking about the games anymore. It's all about VAR and bad decisions. And there were bad decisions back in the day, before pre-VAR. But it was just one of them things. Now, oh my goodness, I looked at Dermot Gallagher on Ref Watch on Monday. I thought he was going to cry. He was like, this has been the worst day of my footballing career and it's been my worst day ever at work. And you think, oh my God, no one's died. It was just a bad decision. Yeah, it's rubbish. And I agree, football is such an easy game, but they're just making it so difficult, changing the rules every year. Nobody seems to know what the rules are. The communication seems to fail more often than not. We had the goal line technology fail for in Aston Villa's favour, which got them promoted, and it's costing clubs millions and millions of pounds. Something has got to change without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ellie, just as we say that, the breaking news is that referees Darren England and Dan Cook are stood down amid ongoing VAR controversy. So the PGMOL admitted that VAR officials Darren England and Dan Cook failed to act after Luis Diaz strike against Tottenham. Both have been stood down for the latest round of Premier League fixtures as criticism of the officials' referees' body intensifies. I'm going to be honest here, Ellie. I might go completely against the grain here. I actually started to feel sorry for officials. I don't think they're that good, by the way, but I'm starting to feel sorry for them because back in the day, they used to just referee a game of football. Now they're refereeing this, technology, earbuds, people in the stand. Like, do you see where I'm coming from? Like, it is a mistake. It is a mistake.
Yeah, where humans are involved, there's always errors. We know this in every walk of life. It's not just football decisions, all right? I mean, you could be at work and you can press something wrong and you'll pay somebody more money, when you shouldn't have. So the thing is, it's all got to come down to, a lot of things come down to money, right? Because Liverpool, if they weren't going to win so much money by making Champions League football, and they're by losing to us, lessens their chance. It doesn't lessen it that much, but it still lessens it because they could have got 3 points instead of no points if the VAR went in their favour, because it looked like they were on top. They scored a lovely goal. It was a perfectly honest goal, brilliant goal, but it was ruled out by an error. And, they've got to really take a long look at themselves when they start blaming the officials, all right? Because they actually did their job. They did say that it was offside, but in the translation, it got to the referee, and the referee thought it was a goal. So he gave it, and I feel sorry for the referee as well, because he's going to be blamed, right? But at the end of the day, I think they should really take a long, hard look at everything they're doing in football, because not only is it doing that, Savva, it's slowing the game down. Right. It's making us really frustrated as fans, both sets of fans, right? Not just one set of fans. And it's taking the fun out of football. Come on, this is a beautiful game we're watching, right? And we're playing some lovely stuff as well. And when we get the decisions, it's lovely. When we don't, we're not going to throw our toys out the pram like Liverpool have done. But at the end of the day, we all discuss it, don't we? It's all on the front page. It's on Sky Sports. It's everywhere on social media. And it shouldn't be. They should be discussing how brilliant the game was, because it was a really fantastic, enjoyable game.
Exactly. I agree. Apologies about that. Sorry, I've got a smoothie and for some reason it was just like, it wasn't pouring. I was doing that and nothing was coming out. It's been frozen for too long.
I'm sure you're drinking the I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here smoothies, because they look absolutely foul. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Listen, it's blueberries, coconut, and Greek yogurt. That's all it is.
Nice. That's a VAR smoothie then, because it doesn't do its job.
It's VAR. It's not doing his job. But Ellie's bang on, Kate. I think this is the key thing. Football has come so far away from being about the fans now. It has become so far away. I'm watching every weekend. Like, do you know what? The people that are in favour of VAR, fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? And I see people justifying it. For me, I want to take it back to basics, back to football fans being able to celebrate. Yeah, it used to be, if a goal went in and it wasn't given, everyone would go mad. You'd look over and the linesman's flagged and you go, oh, no, you don't know what you're doing, all of that kind of stuff and the drama. And then we kind of moved on. Now I feel like every weekend, every game now, this isn't one game. This isn't Tottenham games. This is every game seems to be shrouded in these constant controversies. I think you said just now, Kate, we had these before. We had bad decisions before, but I never remember it being highlighted to this extent because I think we accepted human error, right? It's humans. Now that VAR's there, we don't accept it because it's like, well, you've introduced this to get everything 100% right. So if you're not going to get it right, just scrap it. But my point to all of this is we can't just scrap it in the Premier League, can we? Because the rest of the world has got it. So what happens? Do we just keep going along like this all season, every weekend?
I don't know what they're going to do. They've invested so much money in it and they're moving it down to lower leagues and Scottish leagues. And I mean, I don't know where we go with it. I can't see, every year they say it's going to be better. We're going to make tweaks. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And it's worse every season. I mean, one of the worst decisions, honestly, from a Tottenham point of view, ever seen in my life was that Pedro Mendes goal. That was like, do you know what I mean? And we was all screaming. It was brilliant, It was brilliant in the fact that we were screaming. Man United fans were bantering. But literally the next day or the day after, that was it. No one talked about it all over the newspapers. It was done. It was dusted. Oh my God! Now it's a Spanish Inquisition every time there's a bad decision. But as far as VAR goes, I honestly I don't know where they go from here. I really honestly don't. What they're going to do. It could be so simple again, I think. It should just be used for things like what it says, clear and obvious. The Pedro Mendes goal, check it. Yes, it was over the line. There's a goal. Shouldn't be looked into with offsides that closely. If the human eye sees it's onside, it's onside as far as I'm concerned, and you will get mistakes. But that's what the game's all about. It's only if there's a massive mistake that should get involved, in my opinion.
No, I agree. Look, last bit on VAR, because I want to move on to some real positives after this. But, Ellie, I think this is the key thing. It was clear and obvious is what we were told. Now it's if your nose hair is slightly in front of the player's boot. And, I mean, I'm just absolutely baffled now as to how can every fan not know what VAR, what offside is anymore? Every time a goal goes in, you go, that's off. Someone goes, that's not off. That is off because his shirt. Yeah, but it's his shoulder. No, but it's his armpit. Yeah, but it's got to change. And surely we just go back to is there daylight or is something obvious, because this is crazy.
Oh, it's like clip your toenails and clip your nails before you go on the pitch.
Right.
Cut your hair because your hair might go offside. It's
mad.
ridiculous. It really is. I was expecting the Liverpool mayor to come out and go, oh yeah, VAR.
Yeah.
Go down to Stockley Park and pull the plug out and leave them a serious note, But seriously, because I like to joke occasionally, you know me, right? But seriously, I think they've got to really sit down and work this one out before it ruins the whole game. Because it really is.
Agree.
It's ruining the game. And I feel sick to my stomach that I have to watch every single week and there'd be decisions without our club that you think, oh my God, So I just think it's ridiculous what they're doing. Goal line technology, yes, perfect. Do that one. Keep that one in. Take the rest away and scrap it all. That's what I say.
Absolutely. Big up. Listen, let's go. A couple of people have become channel members this morning, which is nice. Ashwaya, big up to you. Always in the chat. Big up to you. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member. I believe next week is going to be the channel member only show. I think we had one last week, so it should be, I can't remember. It should be next week that we have a channel member only show. And channel member only chats as well. So big up to you. And then also Skyline 1372. Big up to you. And thank you very much. I do appreciate your support. Just a bit of shameless plug in. There are only 3 days, including today, to vote for the content awards. The decision, a bit like VAR, is, the result is not until November the 16th, but you've only got until October the 5th. To vote. So please keep voting. Okay. I promise I'll post lots and lots of pictures from the awards night, going with Perchy, Barry and Haas. So that should be an interesting night. 2 drinkers, 2 non-drinkers, lots of football creators in one room. I'm sure there'll be a few dodgy awards given out, and we'll be asking for VAR on that day. But the link is in the chat and it is pinned, so please do go and vote and let me know when you have, so I can thank you. I want to talk about, Kate, I'm going to come to you. A player that seems to be going under the radar massively. We keep talking about Maddison. We keep talking about Basuma. We're talking about Sonny moving to the middle. Romero, Van der Ven. Pedro Porro, hands up. I didn't think the boy could defend. I didn't think the boy could defend at all. He looks absolutely brilliant, doesn't he? He has been sensational at right back for us, hasn't he, Kate?
Oh, my God. I was talking about him on my show yesterday. He was just unbelievable, I thought, on Saturday. I'm exactly the same. I thought he couldn't defend. I said that he'd be our weakest link in a couple of games, and he's just proved everyone wrong. He looks so comfortable. He looks so confident. I'm blown away by how brilliant he's been. I think he got, I've written it down, 86% accurate passes, 100% successful tackles, 100% aerial duels won, 3 chances created, 6 recoveries made. I mean, he's just playing out of his box. And like you say, he kind of goes under the radar a little bit. But yeah, for me, he's been one of our standout players for the first 7 games. He's been absolutely brilliant. And Royale, sorry, Barry, if you're watching, but he's never going to get in the team ever while Porro's in this form.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Look, when we're playing once a week, Ellie, it is very difficult to see a reason why Emerson Royal would ever be brought back in. Let's be fair, it's not even like we've got a League Cup game that we can say, right, go on, Royale, you play. I think we're at the point where I think there'd be uproar, Ellie, if Royale did start in front of Pedro Porro, wouldn't they? I think everyone would be asking real questions as to why.
Yeah, the only one who won't be is Barry, isn't it? So, right. But, the thing is with him, right, he's a very good professional footballer. He listens. He's learning. He's learning each and every week. Balls were flying over his head, right? He didn't panic. He kept his shape. He was getting help from Kulu as well, which helped him. But every single tackle he went in for, he won, right? And then he has the presence of mind to bomb up the other wing, get the ball, cross it, spin it across. It wasn't a brilliant cross because it went to their player, but it made him think, the player, that somebody's behind him, and he scored in his own goal. So at the end of the day, my hat goes off to Pedro Porro because he got a lot of stick. And I'm all for one, I'm all for one for the players that don't get all the attributes, Yeah. He's bringing a lot of flavours to our game, right? And he's linking up really well with Kulu when he can. Obviously, against Liverpool, he had more defensive work, but there'll be games where he can be let loose. And he's very good. He's got a fantastic shot as well, So I'm really looking forward to seeing Pedro Porro seal that place because I can't see Emerson getting in now. No way.
To be fair, Ellie, when he crossed that ball in, Skippy was running in. To be fair,
he was behind him.
Yeah, he was.
So he was trying to get it to him.
Exactly.
But obviously, Matip had a worldie, didn't he? He really did have a worldie. But luckily for us, he bagged it in his own net. So there you go.
Great finish. Absolute class finish.
Yeah, class.
Yeah, Matip did well. Goes to show what happens, doesn't it? If you actually have a wide man that wants to cross a football into the 6-yard box, it's amazing what can happen in front of goal, isn't it? But look, he has been absolutely great. This one, relax. Can we relax? Can we relax? 7 games. It's comments like this where I think just relax.
Take it easy.
Slow down. This is why other fans will banter us when we start talking about our team is world class. But look, he has been brilliant. I think more than anything, we knew he could go forward, didn't we? We knew he had that pace. We knew he had that power. We knew he had the assists and the goals. But it's his defensive recoveries as well. Because my worry also at the beginning of the summer, and I said it for the first few games, I just think teams are going to target us at right back. I think they're going to target us at right back, at left back, and just get in behind. Now, I actually think teams now, Ellie, listen, I think Udogie's brilliant, by the way. I do feel that teams are realising that he's a lot younger, a bit more naive. And if you've noticed the first half hour of games, teams have really gone at us down our left-hand side. Yeah, Saka in the first half an hour against Arsenal, Salah in the first half an hour against Liverpool. They really target Udogie. And he's learning and growing and getting stronger. But Porro seems to be having a good time down that right-hand side. Nothing seems to really be getting past him. Yeah,
true. I just love him. I think Udogie as well, right? He hasn't really made that many errors. He's made a few.
No.
Made a few because he's young, right? But he's learning the game. Plus he's got Van de Ven by him. So he trusts him that if he makes an error, Van de Ven's going to sweep it up. Because that boy, oh my God, VDV.
What? We're gonna go on to him. Don't worry, we're going on to VDV.
I'll skip that one then. So concentrating on Udogie and Porro, I think teams realise, right, that Udogie can bring the ball out. So they're watching him coming out their way, but defensively he can be a little bit, but he's still learning the game, right? And because he's got VDV there, I think we're okay. You know, it's when players like Davies come on that he's going to struggle because he's not a VDV, is he? But at the end of the day, I think he's done very well. And he's had a few performances, quite a few performances actually, where you think, oh my God, this player can play, you know? And you start looking and like, you really do. It takes your breath away when he's coming forward and when he's pressing. His pressing is immaculate.
Yeah.
You know, and he won us a few goals through it as well.
Yeah.
So, it's all looking rosy for our future, you know.
Yeah.
But let's stay calm, right? It's still early days. Let's take each game as it comes.
No, I completely agree with you. I mean, Kate, we will move on there to Van de Ven, who's going to be the next player. Van de Ven looks like he's been in that back line for years. Like he has slotted in seamlessly. And we forget for 22, he's 22. Centre halves normally are not that composed at 22. His pace, for me, I'm going to say it. For me, he's our. People are going to have a go at me. He's our best centre back. For me, I think he's been good in the air. I was told he wasn't good in the air. His recovery with his pace is brilliant. For me, he never dives in. He seems to stand his man up, jockey him, and then does a tackle, not diving in, huge difference. And he just looks so composed, doesn't he?
Do you know what? Jim and I watched the game again yesterday. I like to watch it a couple of times because sometimes you miss things, and I like to check that what I'm saying is right about players. And I think especially the first time you watch a game, you're full of emotion and panic, and so you miss a lot of stuff. And the first thing Jim said when we started watching it is, oh my God, Van de Ven is a Rolls Royce. And that's exactly what he is. He is a sensational player. He's so calm, so composed. He's an absolute beast. You know, he's got such a big stature about him. I totally agree. I think he's our best centre-back. He looks like a leader. He's, like you say, he doesn't make stupid tackles. He doesn't go to ground. He's just, oh my God, he's just someone we've been crying out for so long. I'd seen videos. I said before he came that I think he'd be our new Jan Vertonghen. But the funny thing is, I see bits of Toby in his game sometime as well. But yeah, he's just a fantastic player. I think we're so lucky to get him, and he's only going to get better because he's only young. And he's really rather gorgeous to look at as well for just a young man.
You keep saying that. It's worrying. You keep mentioning that. I'll be brutally honest. I know a lot of people preferred Jan. I preferred Toby by a mile. I thought Toby was the personification of Rolls Royce. You know, we've had a few Rolls Royces at the back, haven't we? People like Richard Goff. Sorry, I've got a bit of smoothie. It's anything but smooth. This smoothie, by the way, it should be a lumpy. You know, we've had Rolls Royces. Ledley King was a Rolls Royce. I'm gonna say it, Judas was a bit of a Rolls Royce as well. Sorry, Richard Goff. Toby Alderweireld. Van der Ven. Look, 7 games in. I'm sure there's going to be games where he does make a couple of mistakes, but for me, Ellie, you would think that he'd be looking to the more senior player for the composure. This guy just seems cool, like none of these games are important, if you know what I mean. Like he's just kind of like, it is what it is. Yeah, just let me do my thing. He's so good.
Yeah, I'm going to add a few more cars to that repertoire. I'm going to say he's like a Rolls Royce, a Bugatti, and a Ferrari, all rolled in one.
Fair enough.
Because he's got the speed like a Ferrari, he's got the class like a Rolls Royce, and he's got the supreme beauty of a Bugatti, you know, because he's graceful as well. You know, when he's running, he takes his time. When he knows to pick up that engine and speed, he knows exactly what to do, and he knows how to time a tackle, which we've not had for years. You know, even Romero, right? He can tackle, but he goes through the player a lot of the time, right? But this guy, he wins it clean, doesn't give a free kick away, which could lead to a goal. You know, you leave yourself open when you're playing the top teams who can pin one in as well. So I'll take my hat off to VDV as well, because I think he's even better than Jan Vertonghen. I'm putting it out there. I did prefer Jan Vertonghen over Toby, and the reason why, I just have a soft spot for him, and he's more handsome. There you go.
No,
I have to be a woman sometimes,
not.
don't I? I just thought he was a better all-round player than Toby, but Toby, he read the game so well because he didn't have pace. You see?
Yeah, but you know, Toby's when he crossed the ball or kicked a ball, it was always pin perfect. Oh my God, I miss him.
Passing, you couldn't beat Toby. He's much better at passing than Jan Vertonghen. Class passer of the ball.
You've got to remember the moment Toby Alderweireld walked into that defence, it transformed overnight. Toby transformed that defence, didn't he? I thought he was class, but he was understated because he's another one. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't the big name, that was playing for a big club. He didn't have all the hype. He just came in, did his job, and was the two of them were sensational. A couple of comments here. Skyliner said VDV is like King. Thumbs up Fonzie said he never looks flustered. VDV was at fault for the Liverpool goal. Let the player turn and shoot. I do feel that I'll be honest. I'm going to move on to this. That I do feel that for as good as I think we've been at the back, there are lots of tweaks that need to be made, and you would expect that because it's a brand new back four when you think about it. Porro and Romero would have hardly played any games together last season next to each other, let alone in a back four. Udogie's brand new. Van der Ven's brand new. It's going to take time. There are going to be, I'm not saying they're faultless. I'm not saying that we've been, oh my God, we kept 7 clean sheets, but it is going to take time for those two to work the partnership. So I didn't want to get drawn into semantics of, listen, because I'll tell you what happens, right? If I turn around and say, listen, I don't actually think the back two against Liverpool were the best. I don't think they were the best because we did give them a lot of opportunities, Kate. There were times in the box where Romero and Van der Ven both left their man with a lot of room. But if I had said that to start with, I would have been called negative and been told to focus on the positives. But that is something we do need to tighten up a little bit, isn't it? When we get caught in transition, we are quite high up the pitch and then there is a little bit of panic in our box.
Yeah, 100%. First of all, you said about Toby coming in and changing the defence overnight. That's what I think Van der Ven's done. We look just completely different since he's walked through the door. But yeah, it was a little bit worrying, the space that we gave them for their goals. And we did look a little bit static at times, but it's still, this is the thing, because we're doing so well, we forget we're so early into this project. Do you know what I mean? It's 7 games and Andy was there a few weeks before. It's going to take time for these partnerships to really gel. You know, there will eventually be a connection where they know, you know, Van der Ven knows where Romero is and vice versa, and all of that will click into place. But it's such early days. But because we're doing so well, I think everyone's just expecting it to be great and perfect all the time. But it's going to take time.
Massively agreed. I do think, yeah, sometimes performance, if we're looking at a graph, sometimes expectations are here, performance is up here, and then we forget that actually we're still somewhere down there. But listen, we are playing well. What I won't get caught into, this whole best defense in the league kind of conversation, best left backs in the league, best right backs. I don't feel there's any need for. Are you in the toilet?
Yeah, because it got a bit too windy and hot.
Superb, absolutely superb. I just thought to myself, is that? Yeah, it's a Kazi. Yeah, it's a Kazi. Look, I don't want to. I don't like getting drawn into that, Kate. When we talk about lots of people going, oh, Udogie's the best left back in the league. It's like, okay, well, slow down. For me, I think you've got to have more than 7 games before anyone can be called the best in the league, if you know what I mean. But signs are positive. Signs are very positive. He's powerful. Porro's powerful. Van der Ven and Romero will work it out. But I do spend my Monday to Friday worrying that I'm going to wake up to the news of one of those 2 centre-halves being injured. Does anyone else understand where I'm coming from with that?
Yeah, 100%. It's worrying. Because we haven't got anybody good to come and, well, not so much good, experienced as well. We got Phillips and Dorrington, but they're like, they haven't had any first team action and they're quite young, so it's a bit of a worry. We should have really signed another centre half, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll tell you what I got yesterday, Kate. Somebody in my YouTube comments, honestly, it's like just a cesspit of people that are allowed the internet but shouldn't be allowed the internet. Do you know what I mean? Someone in my YouTube, not all of them, but some of them, came in and said, it said Savva, Henry, Sean, Mr. Boxer. It was a list of all the YouTubers. We all got the transfer window wrong. You all look stupid. And I said to this person, early days, I said, you wait till there's a couple of injuries, then you'll see what we were talking about. You wait until Romero or Van der Ven get red carded and miss 3 games. You then tell me when Eric Dyer's playing at centre half, or Ryan Sessegnon's playing at left back. No offense, Ryan Sessegnon. You then tell me that we had a great window. We had a good window. We did some good bits, but I still think we left ourselves a little short. And I do feel that at the moment, as a fan base, it's good. This is a positive, by the way. We haven't had to experience any lows so far this season. I think that is what Mr. Box Office has been saying this whole time, and I do agree with him. That's going to be the real test for me, Kate, is when we do have one of these top players out, when we do have a game without Basuma, when we do have a game where James Maddison isn't pulling strings or Sonny's up top or Van der Ven or Romero, that's where we're going to struggle, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I still don't think we had a great window. We did some good business, but I still don't think it was a great window purely for the fact that we left ourselves so short in defence. I mean, it terrifies me, the thought of Davis, Dyer. Oh, my God. Basuma's on 1 yellow card away from a suspension, I believe, as well. So, I mean, that's really worrying. Yeah, but that's his game. I was saying I used to always have a little bet on him to get booked when he was at Brighton. He gets a lot of cards because that's how he plays. All the while we've got first team out and everyone's playing well. It's great, but yeah, the fallout. I'm not sure how it's going to be. I'm expecting it probably be against a lesser team. If we're anything like previous seasons, we'll probably get bashed up by Luton or something ridiculous. But everyone's just got to be calm and just say, wow, we would never have believed we would be in this position at the start of the season. I certainly didn't. And just, have faith in the manager and have faith that perhaps, please God, in January, Levy will put his hand in his pocket and bring in some reinforcements, because we are in desperate need of some good backup players. But I'm not saying Ashley Phillips can't do a job. It's just difficult because we haven't seen him. So we don't really know what he can do yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ellie, we saw Ashley Phillips on the bench at first. Then we saw Dyer come back in. At the weekend, we saw Ashley Phillips. Oh, sorry, I've got a horrible echo of me. I don't know who it is. I've got a horrible echo. I hear myself immediately after I've talked. I can hear the sentence again. Hang on. Let me hang on. If I do that, I can't hear it. Yeah, Ellie, it's your mic. For some reason, all I can hear is, don't know if people in the chat can.
Yeah.
When push comes to shove, when one of them, I don't know. Let me talk for a second, and that's much better.
It's a bit of thunder and lightning in Cyprus at the moment. I don't know whether it's that.
Those Greek Cypriots say, what's wrong with them? Big up Kuva. When push comes to shove, Romero gets injured for 3 months, for example, or Van der Ven. Who's he sticking in, Ellie? Is he going with Ashley Phillips, or is he going to chuck Eric Dyer back in?
I hope he goes for Phillips. I really do. Because I just don't want to see Eric Dyer again. He makes my stomach churn. Every time I see him on the pitch, he's just not good enough. And he makes basic errors. He can't control the ball. It goes over his foot and he lets players in. And he's just slow at moving the ball. Whereas Ashley Phillips, I've seen him. He's very quick. He'll fit into this system so perfectly. And I don't care that he's young, because he'll be better than Dyer. I just feel give him the chance at least, throw him in the deep end, because that's how you learn in football as well. I just don't like Dyer.
I don't like Dyer. I think what a lot of people have been saying in the chat, which is a really good point, by the way, is there's no unforced errors this season. By the way, I feel like for people like this that can't quite grip their head around conversation, it's okay. Listen, at the end of the day, we have to look at all the parts, right? We're a football team. No one looks at every part and says, oh, it's brilliant. I'm sure that Man City fans dissect things even when they win trebles. They are dissecting who should play at right back, who should play at left back, who's the best centre back, why isn't Laporte playing, why isn't all of this kind of stuff. It's okay. There's nothing being said that's negative. We're not putting the negative energy out. Romero's an injury-prone footballer. Romero likes to get booked. Van der Ven, we don't know. We've not seen that enough. There will be moments when these players are out injured or suspended. The truth. I'm sorry if for someone who calls himself the truth, the fact that you don't like the truth is very, very sad. But again, Cantab, I don't think you can judge a window. I don't think I'm judging the window on 7 games. When we say so far so good, the window's only as good as when the players get injured. For example, when Sonny is injured, I don't know who is going to score goals regularly. If I'm brutally honest, I look at that and that will be for me, should have bought a forward, right? When one of the centre-halves gets injured, my first thought will be, should have bought a centre-half. And that's natural, right? And I'm not saying it can all be done in one window, but that is why I keep my feet on the ground when people start talking about titles. And that is why 11 don't win you a title. But basically, Kate, when you looked at Liverpool's bench on Saturday, right? Now, listen, for me, I don't care. Liverpool are going to finish second. I truly believe that Liverpool will be in that title race. They have got so many top players. I looked at their bench, looked at ours, and to be honest, I was on with Rance yesterday. Was it Rance? Yeah, and Rance actually basically said, if you look at Liverpool on Saturday were Tottenham a couple of years ahead. Very similar styles of play. Very, very end-to-end, very open at the back, very quick going forward in the transition. But for me, they're a top team. But when you looked at their bench, Kate, the likes of Darwin Núñez, Diogo Jota, Trent Alexander-Arnold, they had Gravenberch, and like that is what I looked at and said that's going to be the difference between where Spurs will finish this season and where them and Arsenal will. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, for me, if they'd have started Darwin Núñez, they'd have won. That's what I think. It would have made that much different because he's so unpredictable. I think he can be so quiet and just do nothing for like half an hour and then have 15 minutes of absolute brilliance where he tears teams apart. But anyway, that's another story. When you look at our bench, you look at it and go, that team ain't never going to win the league. If we get top 5 and get Champions League with a bench like that, it will be a fantastic achievement because we have got no strength in depth whatsoever at the moment. Until the January transfer window comes round, if we can avoid injuries, it will be a miracle, in my opinion, especially December with 7 fixtures and wet pitches and, crappy weather and people sliding tackles all over the place. But yeah, I mean, you look at the top teams' benches, look at Man City's bench. Their bench is better than most teams' first team. Do you know what I mean? This is the difference. And this is why when people say, we're going to win the league, and whether they say it tongue in cheek, but there are some that really believe we're in a title race. City are up here, Liverpool are there, and we're quite a way down. Not because our first 11's not good enough, but just because we haven't got strength in depth anywhere really. Even to the keeper. If Vicario gets injured, we're back to Forster or Lloris. Do you know what I mean? And that's terrifying because neither of them are much good anymore. So
by the way. By the way, for people, go on.
I was just going to say we've got a bang average bench at best. At best.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. We'll come on to that a bit more. By the way, people saying about Vicario, we are going to come on to Vicario. I haven't forgotten Vicario. I mean, Kate brings up a great point there, Ellie. At the moment, we've got one more game. We've got one more game on Saturday, then 10 days off. Then I think 2 more games in October. If I'm not wrong, we've got, bear with me 1 second. In November, we've got 3 games, right? So we've got 2 more games in October, 3 more games in October. We've got 3 in November. This is where I think we need to buckle in and realise what's happening. In December, we've got Man City away, West Ham, Newcastle, Forest away, Everton, Brighton away, and then Bournemouth. We've got 7 games in, let me quickly work that out, in 28 days. We've got 7 in 28. So we've got a game every 4 days. That for me, Ellie, and I'm not being negative, before anyone says it's a football debate, that for me is where I think we're going to see the struggle of, hang on, can Maddison and Son play week in, week out with a knock? Yeah? Will we be able to go through all those games without a suspension? Will we be able to go through all those games without any injuries? That, for me, is going to be the real key time. Come through December, 4 or 5 points off the top. It's then all on Enoch and Levy, right? I've got a feeling that we'll get to the end of December, though, and we'll have fallen away a little bit because we can't cope. But I don't know. I'm not being negative. I'm just looking at already Son, Maddison playing with knocks, having to come off in the 75th minutes of games. Basuma, 4 yellow cards. For me, I think it's worrying, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think it is. Obviously, there's a lot of things that you've covered there, but one thing what I'd like to say, we've got Ange Postecoglou who says that we're a work in progress, and I'm sure he's going to get all the other players who we don't think are quite good enough, because they're not. They're not like a Maddison, they're not like a Basuma, they're not like a Van der Ven, they're not like a Romero, they're not like a Sonny. There's so many players, if we lose them, it's going to be drastic to our play, right? But I think Postecoglou is a very clever manager, and I think he can bring up other players up to speed, because you've seen it already where players have come on and they've taken direction. But there's dinosaurs like Davies. He never takes direction. He's one of these loose cannons. but there's other players that can come back. And I'm looking forward to how we cope with it. I'm really looking forward to that period to see what we can do. You know, are we the real deal or are we not? Yeah, because
I
when
agree.
the pitches are lovely, Savva, and they're all green and it's sunshine and we're playing our football, when the winter sets in and you get more fatigue, you get more injuries, this is where the cookie crumbles, right? It's either going to crumble or it's going to stay solid, right? Let's see. We can only watch this space at the moment, but one thing's for sure, we've got a really great manager who can rally the troops, yeah, and he can really instill in them. If we do get these injuries,
Ellie, he can.
Yeah, I think he's a special. He's got special. It's like a Midas touch.
But what he can't do. What he can't do is replicate what James Maddison does on a pitch because no one else in the club can. What he can't do is replicate Sonny's finishing. What he can't do is make Eric Dyer suddenly not be an error-prone centre-half. I do feel that I hear you. I've got no doubt about the manager. This isn't me doubting the manager. I just think we're going to really see it when push comes to shove and when we do have injuries, when we do have all these types of things going on. By the way, anyone in the chat who can't understand what I'm saying, we're literally just looking forward to what's going to happen with Spurs over the next couple of months. Honestly, it's some people in the chat are draining, Kate. It's like draining. They want me to come on here and say we're just going to win the league. And it's not going to happen. Look, Ellie, I hear you. I just think the drop-off, if James Maddison doesn't play for Tottenham, I genuinely don't know who creates. I genuinely don't see a single creative player in that squad.
I get your point. I do get your point, but I think there's still balls that can be played forward. Yeah,
sure.
There's still balls that can penetrate. There's still balls that can come over the top. There's still free kicks that can be taken. But, you know, there is going to be a drop-off. We can't lie. There is, in creativity and in finishing. So we're just praying to our gods now, the football gods, like you say, Savva. We'll pray to them every single day until that December period, because that is the crucial time when we're going to play 7 games. That can make or break our season. You know, that's 7 games.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say, one of your trolls, unknown, has just said that you invite women to your football streams, but they don't involve you in their cooking streams. So if you ever want to do a cooking stream with us, Savva, because that's what us women do. When we're not talking about football, we cook a lot and we wash and we do all the little lovely girl things that women are supposed to do. So, yeah, you're welcome to come on a cooking stream with me and Lily. And we'll probably cook unknown as well.
He's just been put in a timeout. Listen. Guys and girls, I'm sorry, it's 2023 and we're going to talk about women on stream, so there must be something to do with cooking. Jesus Christ.
Honestly, people are so pathetic.
Get your head out your arse, you absolute prick. Sorry, I won't even calm it down, demonetize me. Absolute fucking moron. I hate people like this. People like this, the truth, just join in. Everything doesn't have to be stupid, right? Everyone's having a nice football chat. It's okay to disagree on football, but I won't have any of that. It's like those idiots, the Liverpool fans, with the racism against Udogie.
Yeah.
Why is people's first fault sexist, racist? Why is this everybody's first fault when something goes against them? Oh my God, I've seen women cooking. Oh my God, I've seen a black player. Racist. It's like, what are we doing in life?
Because, Savva, people are used to being able to say whatever they want without consequence, because on the internet, they'd never say it to anyone's face, but when they're stuck behind a keyboard, they have a brave pill and think they can say what they want and they know there'll be no consequence to it. Honestly, I just laugh. I've had it so many times. I've only been YouTubing a few months, and the amount of times I got told to get back in the kitchen, it just makes me laugh. It's just
my dad was a master chef. My dad was a master chef. My family are all in catering, right? So we can cook, but we like to talk about football occasionally as well. You know, idiot.
Yeah, and this just goes on to this comment from Nana Hotspur asking about the abuse that he suffered. Listen, I'm hoping that we're going to have good people around the club now to help him deal with that kind of stuff. Look, he looks like a nice, strong lad, a nice, strong character. But no one should have to put up with that. Like, it's unbelievable. So for me, when the Liverpool fans want to cry about VAR and that, sort yourselves out on a moral level first. We've had the racism from for Udogie. We had the Sheffield Wednesday fans in the stand putting out the picture of little Bradley Lowry who died of leukemia. And I just sit there and I think to myself, why has football descended past the point of banter and it's now at the point where everyone thinks they can be racist and talk about kids who have died of leukemia? I mean, at what point does your moral compass set in? And at some point, they've got to make an example of those people. So the unknown, get the fuck out of here. I don't care. Demonetize me. I don't care. Don't care about the money. Kate, you know, I don't care. Right. I don't give a flying fuck. Get out of here if that is how you're going to be. All right. Because these two ladies here are sitting here talking football sense. Well, some of you Muppets are idiots that can't talk football. No, I'm going to say it. Look, let's get back to the football. Loves Music has said Leicester had 18 injuries when they won the league. Listen, I see this a lot, guys. Big up, Loves Music. Long time no see. Hope you're well, my man. Thank you for that. What I will say is I see a lot of comparisons now. Whenever talking about injuries or first 11s, people straight away go back to Leicester, to the Leicester season. I'm going to come to you and get both your points of view on this. But for me, I'm going to say that for me, that was a massive anomaly. Leicester City winning the league. And at that time, I feel like a lot of football clubs were in transition. City weren't what they were. Liverpool weren't what they are. Arsenal weren't what they are. Newcastle aren't what they are. I feel like this whole, I'm not saying Loves Music, just Loves Music. I see in this a lot. Comparing us to that Leicester City that season, for me, is way off the mark. There are good teams all over the Premier League now. What do you guys make of it?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was just a fluke season where everything went their way for a start. And I don't know, just like you say, everybody was still developing their teams. Now City have got an established team with excellent players, excellent experience of winning everything. Liverpool are the same. Arsenal, I would say they're getting better, although I do think they look weaker than last year. Newcastle have got new ownership. They're going to get better and better. Villa looks so much better. Brighton. There's just such top teams out there. So, yeah, I do. I think it was a complete fluke. What do you reckon, Ellie?
I totally agree with you, Kate, because there was a lot of 1-0 wins in those Leicester season. Right, and they were scraping through games. They weren't really setting the Premiership on fire. But I thought we should have won it that year as well. We had it in our pockets, but we gave it away, and we had a much better team than them, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, you can't make comparisons because, like you said, Savva, a lot of teams were in transition and they were finding their feet. But look how they come. The cream always comes to the top. Doesn't it, Sav? It does.
It does.
You see, when you look at the trophies won, 5 teams have won 80 or 90% of the trophies since the Premiership started. So that just proves it, doesn't it? That they will.
I think in the last 20 years as well. The last 20 years, Ellie, looked at the League Cup and FA Cup. I think it was 17 of the 20 wins across in the last 10 years. So obviously there's 20 trophies that have been won, League and FA Cup. 17 of those have been won by the big 4, big 5. 17 of them. And then the anomaly was Wigan, Leicester, and maybe Birmingham or someone like that. But it goes to show that there's, that's the cup. That you look at the league as well. Other than Leicester City, who's won the Premier League in the last decade? Chelsea, City, in the last decade,
in the last 10 years,
in the last decade,
Liverpool,
Man City, Chelsea,
Liverpool. Isn't it?
That's it. Yeah. Man City, Chelsea, and Liverpool. Man United haven't won it, have they?
No,
not in the last 10 years.
Let's have a look. Hang on, I'm just gonna.
You think a massive club like Man United can't win the league? because Man City have taken their perch.
Didn't Blackburn beat us in a Carabao Cup final?
Yeah, they did when Glenn Hoddle was in charge. Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah,
right, so if we look at, if we actually, let me just go to a list of winners. Here we go. God, this has gone all the way back to like 1820. I mean, this is the thing, right? So if we look here, right, and this is why when people say I'm negative because I talk about not winning a title and that, I just think I'm being down to
realistic.
earth. Like if we look here, you can see. So other than Leicester City in 2016, look at that list of who's won the Premier League, right? So that goes all the way back to 09. So literally, you've got Man U, Chelsea, City, Liverpool. You've got 4 teams other than Leicester that have won it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. In 15 seasons, it's been shared amongst 5 clubs, Leicester being the anomaly, right? And that is why the cream does rise. The cream rises to the top. Even when you look at all the second place finishes, right? This is what makes me laugh. Like in the beginning of the season, you always get this, right, ladies? You get loads of teams will be up there, like Villa are up there right now, Brighton are up there, Spurs we're all jockeying. When you actually then look at who was finishing in second and third, Spurs have managed to finish third twice and second once. But you look at that list of seconds and thirds. It's all the Man U's, Arsenal's, Liverpool's, Chelsea's, Man U, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, and this is the problem because what a lot of people don't factor in. I love it. I love the dream. I love the passion of we're going to do this kind of the Rovers type stuff. But cream rises to the top 9 times out of 10. Who wins the Champions League most years? It's going to be your Bayern Munich's. It's going to be your Man City. It's going to be your Real Madrid's, right? It's going to be the Liverpool's. Porto won it that one year when Jose had the miracle. But more often than not, it's the big clubs win the big things because cream rises to the top, because squad depth rises to the top. Know-how. Everyone forgets know-how, how to get over the line. Why Arsenal didn't win it last year. Pep knows how to win a title. Pep knows how to bounce back from a defeat and go, you know what? We won't lose for another 20 now. I'm going to tweak this. And I just feel like that kind of sensible talk's gone right out the window now whenever people are talking about football. Do you know what? I think it's crazy. I really, really do.
I think people underestimate that knowing how to get over the line. I think people underestimate just how massively important that is. Because had Arsenal had that experience in recent years and their players had known how to just get over the line and that winning mentality, they may well have won the league. But it is so much. That's why I always say if Tottenham manage to win a cup over the next couple of years, I think once they do it once, you'll find that we'll be more likely to win like trophies afterwards. But because we haven't won one for so long, the players haven't got that mentality to get us over the line. And I think it is massively important.
Yeah. And also, right, you've got to take in consideration, who do the best players want to play for? They want to play for the trophy winners, don't they? Yeah. Right. So they get first pick. And then all the rest of us are scrapping for the second best, the third best, the fourth best. Right. So it makes sense that the cream goes to the better sides who've got the best players, and also the strength in depth. They'll buy players to be on the bench that are better than other teams' first teamers. You know,
this is it. Hang on, I'm gonna try and find. By the way, Ben, don't worry about it. I've already admitted.
I've got to go, Sav, because I'm going to have my massage. So I do apologise.
No worries. Kate and I will hold the fort. We will hold the fort. Thanks for coming on, Ellie.
Take care.
See you soon.
The rest of the show. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Hang on.
Having a massage. How the other half live?
Right. I'm just gonna bring this up. Okay. So but right. Hang on. Let's have a look at. Hang on. I don't want to match stats. I want the team news lineups. Right. Here we go. So I'm gonna bring this up, Kate, just to show that this for me is the difference between teams that can challenge for titles and teams that can't. Right. And again, people will call me negative, but I'm just here being real. Right. When you look at that, right, have a look at the difference. Look at that bench. Alexander-Arnold, Harvey Elliott, Endo, Gravenbach, Kelleher's a good keeper, Konate, Nunes, Jota. Now flip to our bench, right? Now flip to our bench, right?
Yeah.
That for me, that's the difference why those teams, it's all right beating them in a one-off game. You know, we do this a lot. Like we beat Man City in one-off games and everyone goes, oh, there you go, we could win it. There's a difference between doing that and then doing it year after year. And what you'll notice is every week, he can rotate his front three. Every week he could be Nunes this week, Jota this week, Gakpo the next. That's why I ultimately feel that is going to be. We have to see what Levy and Enoch do in that January window.
I'm not sure anyone on that. I don't think anyone on our subs bench would get anywhere near the Liverpool team. Not
nowhere near their bench.
No, exactly, and that's the difference. But it's taken them. You know, it takes time. It does really take time. And if anything, Ange has kind of been not a victim of his own success. I don't want to say that because I said that about Poch, but he's done so well in the first 7 games. He's making people's expectations go through the roof. So people have just got to level themselves out a bit, I think.
No, I agree. And do you know what? By the way, talking about expectations, smash the like button, people. Only 150 likes. There's 308 of you in here. And please do continue to keep voting for me. We've got 3 days left to vote. Look, this is the thing. I think when I talk about this, Kate, people come at it from the different angle. I come at it from a point of view of, I think everything's going really well. I wouldn't change anything. I'm not saying we have to rush through anything in any windows, but it's the fans getting carried away and talking about title challenges and we're better than this team, we're better than that team. I just think everyone's got to relax. Everyone's got to take a chill pill and everyone's got to realise that we are a team in transition. We are a team that are building and growing. And unfortunately, you're right. He is a little bit ahead of his curve. From where we were expecting him to be, right? I don't think any of us expected to be sitting second after 7 games with no defeats.
No. This is the thing. That's why I kind of said victim of his own success, but I didn't mean that because he's not been there long enough. But that's what I think happened with Poch. He overachieved, and then people expect it year in, year out. And already he's overachieving. So people have got to sort of be ready because like I say, if we get, I'm going to be negative now, but if we get 1 or 2 injuries, it is going to change. We are going to lose games because we haven't got the strength in depth. And it's no good everyone turning around and blaming Postecoglou for that. It's just a fact. He's doing absolutely fantastic. I've got full faith in him and I think he's doing brilliant. But
sorry, here is a final warning, the truth. Stop it, right? This is now the 3rd day in a row. Stop it. Right. For anyone who thinks this is a nice, there's nothing wrong with this comment. This guy does this every day. Right. No one is saying you can't have another view. The truth. Listen to what I'm saying. You are winding me up now. Stop it. Right. We all know who you are. Stop it. We know who you are. Ben knows who you are in the chat. I know who you are. Stop it. Right? You keep coming in and doing this. We're having a football conversation. Would you like me to sit here and say we're going to win the league? The truth. Is that what you want me to say? Right? Please stop. We're just having a calm football discussion, and you in the chat are being an idiot all day, every day. You did this last night, asking weird questions about socks and all this. Stop it. You're being weird. By the way, Kate, lots of rumours today. I'm seeing that we're linked yet again with Santiago Jimenez of Feyenoord. I really want this guy. Have you seen him? Do you know a lot about him?
I don't know much about him, but I've seen videos of him, which aren't always that telling. But I've heard you raving about him. It's early days for us to be linked with anybody because, I mean, I'm seeing people saying we're linked with Tapsoba again when he's just signed a new 5-year deal. Not sure about that, but you know what? He looks like he would be a fantastic player. Like I say, I've heard you talking about him loads and watched some videos. So we need to get our business done early in January. There's no doubt about it because you've got the Asian Cup, you've got the African Cup of Nations or whatever they're called coming up. So we need to get players in and gelled nice and early, not leaving it till the end of the window. But yeah, we'll see. Positive sign.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, we're going to go to some super chats and then some points that people have put in, which I quite like, that I think are good talking points. And then we're going to talk about Vicario. Big up to Jim, who said, top man Savva. We love Kate and Ellie and Mia. Absolutely. Everyone should feel welcome to come on every show. Shouldn't have any sexist talk in there at all. It's ridiculous. So big up to you, Jim. Thank you so much. Always very generous. Loves music. Is getting ready to go to Tenerife. Big up to you. Oh, God, I'm so jealous. I look so pale at the moment. Enjoy, my man. Enjoy. Soak up the sun if it's still sunny there. And enjoy.
I'm always pale. I don't do sunshine ever. I'm like a vampire. I can't bear it.
I love the sun. Right, we're going to talk about Vicario. While we do, get in any questions you've got for the last 15 minutes and we'll get to them at the end. And I have starred some comments as well that we're going to go through. Vicario... everyone was a goalkeeping expert in the summer. Everyone told us he can't catch. He's got mistakes in him. He doesn't fill them with confidence. I don't think he's put a foot wrong, has he? I don't know what this guy has done. I think he's been absolutely brilliant.
I mean, Jim was the one who sort of said to me, this guy is really good. And I watched loads of things and I was going, yeah, he looks good, but he couldn't catch a cold. He never catches the ball. He just punches it away. Wow, I was so wrong. I can't believe how well he slotted in. He looks calm, composed. When he plays out from the back, I don't worry anymore. Obviously, that's down to the defenders as well. But for me, he has not put a single foot wrong. He has been a fantastic signing. And I'm sure he's going to be Italy's number one at some point because he just looks the real deal, absolute class, and could be sort of our keeper for the next sort of 10 years, really, if we can keep hold of him. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel you're right. He looks composed. He looks calm. There were times at first when he started playing it out of his feet and I was like, oh, move it quicker. But he just always seems to release the ball at the right time. He doesn't take risks. I think his catching has been fine. Like everyone watching compilations going, he doesn't catch. Looks fine. His reaction saves have been brilliant.
The double save at the weekend was fantastic.
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. He's another one like Van der Ven. He looks like he's played for us for years. They look so settled. They don't look like they're new players. They look like they've had seasons with us. It's just incredible, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, Vicario, we could sit here all day and talk about. I think he's been great. I don't think he's getting anywhere near the plaudits he should. No. And everyone was literally so obsessed with Raya. Everyone was so obsessed with Raya. But for me, this guy must have been on our radar before that. He must have been because the Raya deal went dead, and then the next day we sign a goalkeeper. Transfers don't happen overnight. Do you know what I mean?
No,
this is.
Yeah, I mean, there was rumours Paratici's been scouting him for a while, even though he's not scouting for us. He's just somewhere cooking somewhere in the back. But yeah, that's the rumour that he's been watching him for a while. And to be fair, if that's true, then he's done us a right favour because I just think he's just been so brilliant and he's such a good guy. You can see. I mean, when we scored the winner went in, not we scored, when they scored our winner at the weekend, he dropped to his knees, he put his arms up. He's just you can see he's a real top guy. And another one who's like a leader on the pitch as well. You see him shouting at him when Romero scored the own goal. He was the first one to give him a cuddle and tell him it's all right. It's just, they seem to have a real unity about the squad at the minute. And it's so good to see after the last few years. It's just so nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy's getting blocked. He is just doing my head in now. Sorry, I've got to block him. Big up. Let's have a look. A few comments that I'm going to go through. Big up, George. Hope you're well, my friend. I said, how does Spurs sit within FFP? Can we still spend a lot in Jan based on turnover? Do we need to private money? Last I heard, I'm not a finance expert at all, was that we were something like 400 million away from FFP. And when you look at what we actually spent in the summer and what we made back, I think the Kane deal covered a hell of a lot of our incomings. I would suggest it's probably somewhere still near 400 million. I would suggest it's not a problem, Kate. I don't think this could ever be a problem.
No, nowhere near. I think it ended up that we spent about 32 million when it all evened itself out. So, yeah, I think we could comfortably spend 376, 78 million. But whether we will, I think that's a no. But, yeah, we're well out of the radar for FFP, that's for sure.
Just how Daniel Levy likes it. Only spending 32 million. Yeah, isn't that beer and food revenue from the stadium this season? That's, yeah, I don't think FFP is an issue at all, my friend.
No.
We are so far from it. But let's be fair, we're not that club. I feel like every summer, we all do this, and I've done it before and gone, but we've got 200 million till we hit FFP. We're never going to go near FFP. That is not how Daniel Levy and his cronies run this football club. If we get there, it's going to be through good scouting, good management, and a bit of luck. Let's be honest. It's not going to get there through us going to spend 300 million in a window. No,
good coaching. I mean, at the end of the day, look at Brighton. Look what they do. They're just their team, their scouting, recruitment team are off the charts. So we just got to do better in the scouting and young players. Bring them in. Ange's already proven he can coach. He can coach players to be better, and so that's all we've got to do. Hope we can get a few gems in through the door.
Yeah. By the way, Will, it's not. Will, message me afterwards. It's not. It's somebody who emails me all the time on my on my Spurs email address, so to speak, not my personal email address. Constantly, we're seeing the same pattern of behaviour from this person. They do the same thing. They get themselves blocked, and then they apologise. I get them another chance, and then they just start acting like I did it again. It's definitely not. I know that. I don't know if we do have any Liverpool fans in the chat, but it would be interesting to hear their thoughts. The next comment, Kate, was from Nana Hotspur saying, "Will we get another forward in January? We have Bentancur and Celso coming back, so one more in defence definitely needed." Now, I'm gonna, before you answer that question, Kate, I'm going to caveat this and say, I still think even with Bentancur and Lo Celso, I still think we need more options, because for me, Lo Celso is always injured. Like, this guy is a walking bit of glass, always injured. And I'll be honest, I don't rate him that much. I'll be honest, I think everyone went through Lally because of a couple of 45-minute performances against like the Lions City Sailors on West Ham's B team. But whenever I've seen him in a Spurs shirt, I've never been impressed when push comes to shove. And Bentancur is the big question mark, isn't it? How's he going to be? How long is it going to take him to come back? What do you make about that whole thing before we talk about the forward?
Lo Celso, I can't bear him at all. Not just because I just don't think he's good enough, and I don't think he's got the passion for the club. I don't really think he wants to be here. Bentancur, again, if he can come back and be the player he was, wonderful, but such a serious injury, you just don't know. It's 50-50 of how he'll come back, how long it will take him to get back to playing his best. I would love to sign someone. Neto, I like him very much, but he does get injured a lot. I do agree with that. Yeah. I'd like to get Mbeumo, but I know it's highly unlikely, but I just think he's brilliant. From Brentford, I think he's such a good player.
Mbeumo?
Yeah. But
he's one of those for me. I think he could score more, but forget that. He's always in the right areas. He's always running at his defence. I'll be honest, the next player I want us to sign in that front line, I want it to be someone that runs at people.
Yeah.
Hence why I really want Santiago Jimenez.
Yeah.
I think he's a brilliant player.
I just like Mbeumo as well, because he's a proper unit. He's a real big lump. It's so difficult. I think there's three positions that we really need to strengthen minimum. We definitely need another centre-back. We need Kulu, for me, should never play on the wing. He should be in the middle more if he's going to play. And another forward, because like you say, if Sonny gets injured, I just have no clue where these goals are coming from, unless Feliz comes sort of out onto the pitch and hits the ground running and just starts banging in goals. But that's a hell of a lot of an expectation to put on a kid. You know, to take if Sonny gets injured, to say to Valise, right, you're the main man now. Come on and do your stuff. Again, Gallagher last night, I thought he was fantastic, Conor Gallagher. But I mean, I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Especially he's been given the captaincy a couple of times now. Eze, he's never going to come to us. He's not going to leave Palace, where he's one of the main men, to come and be a bit part player. He's not, because I don't think he'd start every single game. Might be wrong. So I'm not sure, but yeah, minimum 2. But ideally for me, we need to get 3 in January. But it's such a hard window to try and get players in. But
yeah, it really, you've got to be working on it now, right? You've got to be working on, it can't be that you just suddenly turn around in January and go to someone, hey, can we have your player? I think it needs to be listen, we're coming in for him. His agent said he wants to come. Get a backup type thing. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's why I said if we're being linked to Jimenez, it can only be a good thing. Maybe they're talking already, and something's going to be in place, ready to go. But I mean, someone's saying here Eze would leave Palace in a heartbeat. Eze and Elise have both just signed new deals not long ago, so I'm not sure that's true. But everyone used to say Zaha would leave in a heartbeat, but he never did.
The thing is, Eze might leave in a heartbeat, Kate, but I'll tell you, we won't be letting him go in a heartbeat is the Crystal Palace chairman, who'll be asking for, I mean, what are they going to ask for Eze? 60, 70?
Yeah, I think minimum 60, minimum.
Right. And has Daniel Levy ever shelled out 70 million for a football? So, listen, for me, I think it's going to be done with clever signings. Like this Santiago Jimenez, I reckon you get him from Feyenoord for 40 million. Right?
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying this, because back in the day, 40 million was loads. 40 million now is a bargain, right? 40 million is... So, by the way, if anyone was wondering, and the fact that I thought that who the truth was, I've just received an email from the people who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. I've just received an email from that person that's dropped into my junk email saying, "How are you?" from that person. And God. It's just too much. It's just too much.
That's cringier than Liverpool's PGMOL statement.
It's absolutely mad. It's absolutely mad. Yeah, listen, I think what we need to do moving forward now as well, though, is we've got to not sign players and talk about them as subs, Kate.
Yeah.
I think what we've got to do is we've got to sign players that rotate, whether that be Maddison, whether that be Basuma, because next year we're going to get Europe. I'm going to say we're going to get Europe, right? Next year, when you've got Europe, you can't just be having an 11 and subs.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to rotate. And this is where we've made the mistake. So for me, bring in a Jimenez. If Sonny's got a knock, don't risk it. Put in Jimenez. Bring in a Pedro Gonçalves. And if Maddison's got a knock, you bring in Pedro Gonçalves. Do you know what I mean? That's what we should be doing as a football club. But yeah, and proud to be a Geordie has said, question, how many black and grey T-shirts do you own? Yeah, my missus tells me off for this all the time. Too many, apparently, but it is what it is. Let's just look at a few comments. We're going to go for another 5 or so minutes. We've been looking with everyone. Yeah, oh, God, yeah. Listen, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt as a Spurs fan. But certain players do keep coming up. Certain players do keep coming up. James Maddison was coming up for years. Ben, I'll send you the screenshot and when I finish, mate. It is who I thought it was. Listen, Kate, I really, really enjoyed the show. Before we go, what we should mention as well is that look, we do have Luton Town at the weekend. It is the early kickoff. We will go top for a period of time if we can win this. Lots of talk in the chat has been about, would it be your first 11? Are you putting out? Are you making subs? For me, at the moment, I want to see the first 11 get the 3 points and then crack on into the international period, rather than us resting players just so that they go and play 2 times for their country in the next 10 days. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, agree. I just think 1 game a week, you've got to play your strongest 11 all the time. And you can't underestimate anybody in the Premier League. We'll be linked with Linkario, Linkovic, there's no such thing as an easy game. That's what I've always said. And so, yeah, I would be playing the first team. We've got another international break as well in November. I just looked, which is really depressing. I know. So, yeah, I wouldn't be making any changes. For me, if we can go 2, maybe 3-0 up, which it's not really out of, like, there's a good chance that'll happen. I would try and rest some players, but I would start the strongest team, try and get it done early. Hatate's just signed a 5-year contract as well, isn't he?
Yeah. This is the problem. But I think now a lot of the contract lengths are so that they can get more money rather than actually signing.
100%.
But look, I agree with you. It's going to be tougher to get these players out. I'd take that as a window. Hatate midfield, Jimenez as a forward, and another centre back. I'll take that all day long. I would. There's many players I would have. Look, again, I think what we're going to see this weekend is lots of people predicting massive scorelines. I don't think it's going to be a massive scoreline. I think we might get 3, but it'd be another team for me that make it compact, ask the question, and another game where I'm going to get massively frustrated with my mate Kulusevski for not ever beating his man and whipping it across, if I'm brutally honest. I'd like to see Brennan Johnson play, if fit. And 100%. On the right, I'd like to see him on the right and actually run up. I want to see a winger at Spurs beat a man. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, Luton aren't Sheffield United. Although they do play compact, they do go for it as well. They try and get you on the counter-attack. So, for me, it's not going to be an easy game. I do think we'll score, and I do think we'll win. But I don't think we should underestimate them. I know that they're sitting bottom and everything else. But, yeah, I would leave Kulu out and have Brennan Johnson on in a heartbeat. I just think his pace... and the fact that he's a tricky little player. But yeah, you're right. Play him on the right. And sorry, I'm thinking of something else at the same time. My brain's getting it's because I'm reading the comments. So yeah, like I say, I do think we'll win, but like Luton will play compact, but not so much of a low block. So hopefully Sonny can get some space, gets a couple of early goals, and maybe we can actually rest them for a bit and try out Valise and give the kids a run out, because that's what they need. We need to see what they can do. But at the same time, you don't want to drop points by risking them and knocking their confidence. So if we can get 2 or 3 up, maybe try and bring them on and see what they're made of. I'd love to see Valise come on and see what he can do at some point during the match.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. And somebody asked a really good question. We're going to go to that comment in a minute about what do we do when the players go. Let's just go to it now, shall we? Joe Ryan made a great point. How do we cover for our players in the African nations and Sun in January? Yeah, look, I think that what you've also got to remember is we'll be coming into January off the back of 7 games in December. So I think you are going to get players that are going to pick up injuries, going to pick up some niggles. You are going to lose Sarr. You are going to lose Basuma. You are going to lose Son. I think then this is where the January window plays a massive, massive part of our season. But also, that's where you've got to see Yannick Santiago, Jamie Donnelly, Ashley Phillips, Valise. This is where you're going to have to see some of these youngsters are going to have to at least be on the bench, at least getting 10 minutes in games where we're 2-0 up, for example. I mean, that January transfer window is massive, absolutely massive for me.
Yeah, and I mean, I think one of the competitions is about the 12th of Jan, something like that, it starts. So this is why we need to get the business done early. So if, like I say, they're scouting for someone like Jimenez early, hopefully as soon as the window opens, we can bring him in and get him embedded in the squad ready, because they're going to be a massive, massive loss for us, Sarr, Basuma and Sonny. Oh my God. It don't bear thinking about at this moment in time. So we need to make sure we've got players in ready. And and this is why the kids need to have a chance at some point in the near future, so that they're ready. If they're called in to step up and play a part, we don't want them to just be chucked in at the deep end. They need to get some minutes pretty much every week or every other week, get some minutes, get their confidence up, get them used to the system, etc.
Absolutely.
That's Jim's view. That's Jim's view as well. He's done very well.
I don't know what people are watching. As a winger, he's so unthreatening. It's unreal. Like I honestly, wingers now for Spurs, in Spurs fans' eyes, have turned into defensive midfielders. All the praises for what they do going backwards. I'm sorry. I watched time after time after time. This guy failed to do what Porro did with one attack. That is what he should have been doing. low balls into the 6-yard box. Listen, if Ange is telling him to play like that, sure. But whenever I've watched an Ange system play football before, he's never had his wingers doing this. I'm confused. He isn't for me. I don't hate him. I'm not saying sell him, but he just isn't. I don't know. I don't ever watch him and go, yes, Kulu. I watch him and go, receive the ball, cut inside. Receive the ball, cut inside. As I said on the Spurs review, Kate, for me, you could get a youngster from the youth team to do that. You could put out a young winger and go, look, I know you're a bit nervous. All I want you to do, receive the ball. Yeah? Receive the ball. When you get it, play it safe, cut inside, pass it 5 yards left. That's what I would expect from a youth player coming in. This is a player that's played for Juventus, right? This is a player that plays internationally, and he looks like a rabbit in headlights. He looks scared. He looks scared to run with the ball. He looks scared to take any man on. But a goal against a goal against Bournemouth from 6 yards out, and the goal against Thingy have clouded people as to what is a good winger. I'm
not sure. I just don't think he's a winger. I don't see him as a winger. I don't see how he gets in through the middle. Like, I don't see, maybe in rotation, but for me, he just isn't a winger. That's all I can say. I just don't think he suits that position at all. He's better for me off the ball than he is on the ball, because like during the Liverpool game, he led players away, ran in position so players followed him, giving space. But when he's got the ball, I find him totally uninspiring. I really do.
I do. I tell you what. For me, he should be the midfield cover when Maddison comes off. That's the position I think he is. Even though I don't think, obviously nowhere near Maddison, but I can't help it. I'm just so underwhelmed. I'm so underwhelmed when I watch him play. And I was speaking to in a WhatsApp group with my best mates, that I've known since school. So everyone supports different clubs. They all said, like, the difference when you watch Liverpool and you watch Spurs, the difference was every time their wide men got the ball, you shit yourself.
Exactly.
Every time their wide men get the ball, whenever our wide men get the ball, you go, meh.
Yeah.
Don't you? It's a bit meh. But yet you've got loads of people that constantly say he's really good. He's done brilliant. I don't, maybe everything I've ever thought about football is wrong, but I just can't. Like I told you, I watched the game the day before. Was it the day before? No, earlier on in the day, Brighton v Villa. And I was watching Zaniolo and Diaby as wingers and Matoma. And they're wingers. They get the ball. They're exciting. They get the ball. They make their fullback scared. I watch Kulu and go, I'm sorry. I know I've talked about it a lot, but for me, he's the weak link in that forward line. He's the weak link.
Those were the exact words I said yesterday on my show. And I said, it just, I don't see it. I don't know if it's me and maybe it's me and you and a couple of others, but some people absolutely, like Ellie, heaps massive praise on him. I just think everything seems to slow down with him and stop with him. Jim said, oh, well, when he gets the ball, he's got 3 players on him. What's he meant to do? But it's just so predictable.
He hasn't always got 3. Kate, this is what happens. When we're defending a player now, people start creating false narratives. It is, he's always got 3 players on him. No, he hasn't, right? It is, he's waiting for the overlap from Porro. Hang on. Sometimes he's so deep in the other half, one-on-one with his fullback, and you're going, run at him. No.
Yeah, exactly.
And Porro's infield. I don't think people understand this formation, because when they're talking about the overlap, if you actually watch Porro and Udogie, a lot of the time they're actually inverted. They're not overlapping. This isn't a typical fullback. I don't know. It just is so underwhelming. I can't help it. I want him to be great. I want him to be really good, but I don't know what we're watching.
No, I think maybe he will do exactly what we basically just said, put Brennan Johnson there and maybe keep Kulu for the midfield rotation. That's the only thing I can think of, because he just doesn't work on the wing for me at all. When you think of players like Aaron Lennon, when he got the ball, people used to absolutely crap themselves. He was so quick. He was so tricky. He used to run at everyone. And then you've got Kulu, and it's like, boring, predictable, boring football.
I see. If we're going to do that, if they want him to hold the ball up and everyone's talking about this kind of stuff, why not stick him on the left and let him hold the ball up there and get Brennan Johnson with his raw pace on the right? If we're going to do that, at least have one of the wingers that gets the ball and makes the fullbacks go, right? What do I do? As a fullback said, when I was younger, I used to play fullback. And every game when you'd start playing, right? Obviously, it wasn't to the same level, but it's the same principle. You'd watch your winger. As soon as you line up, you're at left back. So I'm at right back. I can see my left winger. And you think, right, the first time he gets this ball, I'm going to find out what game I'm in for. Yeah. Am I in for one of these games where you go, enjoyed today, or I cannot wait for the 90th minute? Yeah. Kulu's one of them players where I think the fullbacks must go, I'm going to enjoy today. Yeah, I don't think, name me a left back he's given a torrid game to this season.
There isn't one. There isn't one. I don't know if he's even got it in his locker. I just don't know. But like I say, hopefully he will bring Johnson on in that position. I just don't think, I said to Jim, as a winger, he stands out like a sore thumb in this system because it's a creative system with lots of pace. And it just seems to get so sluggish and predictable as soon as he's involved in the play. I can't cope with him at all. As soon as Brennan Johnson gets in that position, the better for me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like somebody made a great point here. Like, not just with Luca Colesso at Burnley, but whenever I watch, people seem to be picking up wingers now that run at people. Yeah, like everyone is picking up these. Even when I watched Bournemouth play against us, and I thought it was a really good battle of Semenyo on the right hand side versus Udogie. And even then, I thought, God, he's picking it up. He's running at Udogie. He's making problems. I just need to see this from Kulu because it's slowing it down. Now, it's okay at the moment. People go, you can't be negative because we're winning games. That's fine, but you won't always be winning games. And we've got exactly the same problem on the left-hand side, by the way. Right? Solomon will try and take his man on, but without end product. Kulu can't take on his man with no end product. Like, I don't know. It's, I don't know. I don't know. Listen, it is what it is. All I know is I'll go back to my tried and tested, right? He's one of those players, Kate. If he played for one of our opponents, we'd be honest about his ability. I've said this for years about so many players. If some of these players played for our opponents, because as much as I don't think Saka's world class, watch Saka, then watch Kulu.
Yeah.
Right? I know I'm having 10 times out of 10. Watch Moussa Diaby at Aston Villa. That's a proper winger. That's a proper, scary wide forward.
Yeah? What a player he is.
And he was bought for, what, £40 million?
The thing is, as well, you've got to look at Kulu and go, which of the top sort of 6-8 teams would he walk into? And I don't think he walks into any of them.
I don't think he gets into any of them.
There we go.
Let's have a look at the Premier League table. There you go, Premier League.
Even Cucurella has pocketed him twice. Yeah, that speaks volumes.
So when we look at the table, right? There we go. Let's remove this. Now, what we've got to factor into here as well, the way that some of these teams play, right? Now, would he get into Man City? Not a chance. Not a chance he gets into Man City. Would he get in at Arsenal? Not a chance. Liverpool? Not a chance. Villa? Not a chance. Does he get in above Brighton's wingers? Not for me. No. Brighton play a very direct, running at people game. Does he get in above Jarrod Bowen? No. Not for me. Nowhere near. Does he get in above Miguel Almiron?
No.
Not for me. I think Miguel Almiron's more of a threat. Does he get in? Now you could start the argument with Chelsea and Man United, but other than that, I don't think he gets into these teams.
No,
just
no,
me.
man.
Just me.
I don't either, and that's why when people say so good, if you turn it round and say that to people, and they actually are honest, he wouldn't get into any of those teams. So he isn't that good at all.
Can I ask? When I see this, I always hear that I'm being a bit harsh. I need Mitch. Do me a favour. Listen, football is all about opinions. Cool, but can you please tell me then, if I'm being a bit harsh, what part of his game am I lying about? What part of his game am I lying about? Defensively, brilliant. Sure. Tracks back, brilliant. Name me wingers that don't these days. Everyone tracks back, right? All right, work rate, great. Controls the ball, great. What does he actually do going forward? This is what you're saying. I'm being harsh. Everyone's going to pop up with the odd goal every now and then, sure. But as a winger, please tell me what he does. I'll tell you what, watch Aston Villa's next game and watch Diaby. Even if he doesn't have a great game, watch Diaby. He looks powerful. He looks direct. He runs at people. Just me. Listen, I don't want to labour the point, but for me, I do feel that this is another reason why when people talk about title challenges, when I look at our wide men, I don't think between Brennan Johnson, Solomon, Hill and Kulusevski that we're good enough.
No.
Winning titles, big up Liston. Liston, by the way, was the guy that said my channel was bad on in my YouTube channel. Big up to you, Liston. All attacking midfielders are subbed, but not Kulu. And see something. Okay. And if that's what we're going to do, brilliant. So does that mean then that Eric Dyer is brilliant? Because Conte played him, week out.
I don't think he sees anything. I think he's just got no other option at the minute with Brennan Johnson being out. That's how I see it. I don't think we've got the options to make the changes.
Yeah, I agree. I've just read it, Ben. Thank you very much. Listen, we are going to wrap it up there, Kate. Listen, really enjoyed that. Some good Spurs chat. Big up, Brian. Glad that you've landed in Toronto safely. Hopefully they didn't lose your luggage, Mr. Brian Bagel. But listen, I really do hope that you had a good flight. Best of luck of everything in Toronto. We'll see you next time you're over, mate. Kate, thanks so much. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed it.
No worries. It's been a good discussion with no cooking either. It was just a nice, good discussion. But I'm going to go down and cook my husband some breakfast now because I'm a good little wifey. But no, it's been good fun. Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Always welcome. Just so you know, so the next time I'll be live today is myself, Stephen Haas. We're doing back-to-back Champions League watch-alongs tonight. They're just a laugh, by the way. They're just a laugh. We talk all general football. We'll have all the scores coming in from all across Europe tonight. So it's always good fun. The first game tonight that we have got is going to be a really good one, actually. And I would implore English fans that don't normally watch other leagues. Salzburg versus Real Sociedad, two very good teams with some good players on both sides. That will be followed by Man United v Galatasaray. So maybe Tungai Ndombele and Davinson Sanchez against Man U, maybe. But we'll see you tonight. That kicks off at 5:30 for a 5:45 kickoff. And then we're going right the way through to 10 p.m. Kate, thank you. Really do appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
No worries. No worries at all. I will just say one quick thing. Everyone that thinks Luton's going to be easy, just keep an eye out for Colton Morris, their striker. He's tricky.
He's a handful.
He's a really good player. But I'm on at 1 o'clock with Ellie if she gets back from her massaging time today. So yeah, I'm on over.
Yeah, please, everybody in the chat. I mean, how many subscribers you got at the moment, Kate?
579.
Right, there's 290 people in this chat. Surely we can get 100 of you to go over and make that 679. Surely, just listen. Ben, do me a favor. Oh, he read my mind. Please get over. You don't have to leave this page, even if you do. The stream is ending. Go over, just click the link, smash the subscribe, help the Spurs community out. Go and subscribe to all the Spurs YouTubers. I think it's really good. Don't just watch the ones you like. Watch the ones that challenge you. Watch the ones that make you think something different. Watch the ones that want to talk about finance. Watch the ones that want to talk about winning titles. Watch the ones that want to talk about stats. Watch me when I'm controversial. Watch everyone and enjoy it. This is a great comment, by the way. Sorry, I know we're going to go. Yeah, White Rooster. Yeah, Salzburg always have good young talent. Also, Sociedad have some very good players that we've been linked with. Marino, Zubamendi, Kubo. So, Savva, I've got just joined. Since when did you have to put community guidelines for chat? I haven't.
Yeah, it comes up now. That's how toxic I'm afraid that YouTube is. It's an automatic thing. Yeah, it
from
comes up.
YouTube.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
That just is guidelines for this channel, and it tells you not like to be nice and not disrespectful, not this, not that. That's how the world is. I'm afraid you have to actually literally tell people to be nice.
Yeah, please be nice. Yeah, please do.
Exactly.
Big up to everyone. And by the way, for myself, please get over and subscribe to Kate. But for myself, we're only 25 subs away from 11,500. So please do subscribe. That would be great. Everybody, much love. Take care. We'll be back at R5. I've got a 5-mile run to do today and over a 200 sit-ups. So that's going to be fun. Big up, everybody. Take care. As always, come on, you Spurs. Go and subscribe to Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs.
Thank you.